If you never ever want to run out of ideas for writing emails, creating content for your audience, or having something to share inside of your videos, then you are 100% going to love this. This is a concept that I teach inside of one of my programs called Cultivating Buyer Desire. And it's something that is called the interest triangle. And again, if you've ever run out of ideas or you're not sure what to write or you've stared at a blank page before, then you are going to love this. This is one of the main ways that I've been able to write and share emails and create content effortlessly, basically, and never really run out of ideas for years and years and years and years. So the way that this works is there is something, like I said, called the interest triangle, all right? And it looks like this. So with any good triangle, there are three parts to it, okay? Or three three edges to it, all right? And so each one of these makes up different points of interest that you can always talk about that will make you interesting, relevant, connect you to your audience, and also lead you to come up with ideas that can ultimately then be leveraged to sell stuff. So at the top of the interest triangle, we have the result that you help people with, okay? And by the way, I have terrible handwriting. Roll with me. This is how it is. So the result is going to be like your niche, the outcomes, the problems that you solve for your audience. So in my case, that would be helping people write books, helping people use their writing to create writing-centric online businesses. That would be writing emails that sell and serve. Anything that is related to the results that you help people get or the problems, right, that you solve, okay? So whenever you're talking about that, that's going to attract the interest of those people who are interested in either having those results or solving those kind of problems, all right? So this is great because whenever you talk about that, you're talking to people who want that outcome or that problem solved. Now, the problem with this, though, is it doesn't necessarily make you unique, right? There are lots of people who help people write books. There are lots of people who write people work less and make more. There are lots of people who, help people lose weight or, beat anxiety or like whatever the thing is, or stress less, like whatever the thing is that you help people do. There are lots of different people that do that. So we need this in order to allow the market to know that you're here to help them. But this alone doesn't make you interesting indefinitely, okay? I can only talk about book writing so much. I can only talk about productivity so much. I can only talk about, monetizing yourself so much before that is the only thing that is kind of in the conversation and people go pay attention to somebody who's more interesting. So that's where the other two corners of the interest triangle come into play, and they're really, really, really valuable. Okay, so the one that we have on this corner are your passions. Okay, so the thing is, you and I could help people with the same result. You could help people write books. You could help people with productivity. You could help people, earn less and make more. However, our passions are different. So like for me, one of the things I'm super passionate about is skiing. So I tell stories about my ski adventures. I talk about, living in the mountains. I talk about skiing 100 plus days a year. These are things that I'm passionate about. I also have kids. I'm a husband. I am big into spirituality. I'm into like minimalism and meditation and like all these other kinds of things. I love to travel. We try and go to Europe for, 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, sometimes a year. And I love to travel and do all those kind of things. So whenever I'm talking about the passions, the things that I'm really, really into, this also shines a light into my world that makes me more interesting to my audience and to the people that are in my world. But your passions are going to be different than my passions, right? So if you're into horse riding, if you are into tennis, if you are into basketball, if you are into, crocheting, like it doesn't really matter what the thing is. The great thing about passions and talking about them is that it's impossible to not be high energy around them because we love these things. Like when I talk about skiing and climbing mountains and shredding powder, it's like, it's the best thing. But you can hear it in my tone of voice. Like I'm pumped about it. I want to talk about it because I love it. And when I correlate those passions to offers that I have that align with the results or problems that I help solve inside of my marketplace, this again makes me more interesting. Then I'm not just Joshua the book guy or Joshua the productivity guy. Then I'm Joshua who loves to ski and has, gets to ski 100 plus days a year. And he also helps people with this. And it's like, wow, I want to know more about how he does that. Okay. So check into your passions. This is super, super, super important, but correlate those things to the results and problems that you help solve inside of your marketplace. Now, the other corner is what I call your worldview. Okay. Or, your belief set. I'm not going to write belief set, but you get it, your beliefs, okay? So you were raised differently than I was raised, and where we grew up, how we grew up, all of these different variables make up our worldview and our beliefs around how the world works and how we see our market, how we see life, how we see the problems that we help people solve, okay? So for me, one of the things that I believe in is that hard work is not correlated to earning more. Like, it can be if you want it to be, but it's not exclusive, right? So I talk a lot about creating more leverage, creating more efficiency, working less and earning more. I talk about doing the needle moving things, the effective things like writing emails every single day. That's what I help people do inside of the 2-Hour Business, right? To become a freedom writer, which, by the way, if you want to know more details about that, click on the link around here. You can get on the wait list for it and all that kind of jazz for when I open it up. But your worldview is totally different than mine. And anytime you talk about your worldview and how you see the world, that's going to draw people inside of your audience to you that resonate with that worldview, that resonate with those beliefs that you have. Don't shy away from these. Don't be afraid of them. They really are the thing that allow people to deeply connect with you versus a surface level result or a surface level problem that you help people solve inside of your marketplace. So if you're just looking at basically having a never-ending slew of ideas that you can always talk about and then correlate to your offers, to your books, to your programs, your services, whatever it may be, this interest triangle is going to be one of those things that you come back to over and over and over again. You can always ask yourself, well, man, like, what are some of the beliefs that I have? What are some of the worldviews that I have? What are the things that light me up and that I really believe this? And then how can I correlate that to what I want to share today in my content and as that relates to a problem that I solve in a product or a service or whatever it may be? Same thing with your passions. You know, were you out doing your passions? Were you out skiing? Were you out playing tennis? Like, are you really into movies? What's a movie you love? And then you draw a story from that. So see, all of these things can give you an indefinite number of ideas, or an infinite number of ideas to always talk about to keep your content interesting and unique. And this is how I write emails that serve my audience and also sell my stuff every single day without ever needing to, wrestle with like, what am I going to talk about? Because I can always go to the interest triangle right here that will always help me out. So anyway, if you are somebody who wants help actually creating a freedom-centric, writing-centric online business, and you want to only work a few hours a day, then I invite you to get on the wait list for when I open up the 2-Hour Business. And I will see you in the next video that I create.